Good afternoon, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. Now, as the channel name might indicate, my name is Daniel and I'm mostly a triathlete. However, I'm also a wannabe crit racer, road racer, time trialer, and now gravel pro. This is my Canyon Grizl. I've had this bike for a couple of months now. I did do a video on my first impressions of the bike. I'll leave a link to that down below. Thank you to everybody who's already watched that video. This video is about the changes that I've made to it. So I've got a few events coming up. Firstly, the Dirty Reaver and a few others planned this year, in which pace is of the essence. I want to ride fast. So there's a few things that I've done to this bike in order to make it faster so that I can get the painful days over a little bit quicker. I'm no gravel bike spec expert, but I have done a lot of cycling, so there are a few things that I knew I needed to change and some things that I've had some advice to change. But feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Should I have done something different? Please don't say anything different that's expensive. Yeah, let's get stuck in. So being a triathlete, I am no stranger to bolting stuff to a bike and completely ruining the aesthetics of it. So let's start there, shall we? Frame bags. I understand that when you ride gravel, you have to take a lot of stuff. Sleeping bags, tents, food, jackets, check shirts, I don't know. Apparently you need bags. The events I've got planned are quite long, so I do need plenty of space for food and drink and maybe some clothes. So the top tube bag and the frame bag is the Canyon Apogura range. These were too easy to drop in the basket when I bought the bike, to be honest. They were a bit expensive. The top tube bag was about £70 and the frame bag was about 110, so not cheap, but with things like this, I think you do get that quality. So these are fully waterproof. The zips feel good quality. There's a zip on both sides of the frame bag. I did go for the bigger frame bag option. It's a 4.5 litre frame bag. Being a large frame, there's still plenty of space in there. It does struggle to get a 750ml bottle in that front bottle cage, so I might have a small one in there, but it's not the end of the world, and they feel pretty good. The top tube bag bolts to the top tube, and there's like a magnetic clasp so that it's not going to like fall undone while you're riding. And I really like the feel of those, so hopefully they will pay me back in dividends. The other bag on the bike is the one behind the saddle. Now I know this isn't the most fancy thing in the world, it's just a toe peak, sort of medium sized wedge saddle bag. It's just going to be spares in there, to be honest, so you know, tubes, tools, CO2s, those sorts of things. Hopefully a bag that I won't have to open at any event this year, but stuff that you might need in some cases. So yeah, saddle bag, and I think that is about it for bags. The second big change, drivetrain. Now I am blessed to be supported by NRG chains, so this is sponsored. NRG support me with wax chains and ceramic bearing jockey wheels. To be honest, the performance gains of the chain and the jockey wheels are good, but look at it, it just looks great, doesn't it? So I've got a YBN rainbow wax chain and some rainbow wax ceramic bearings, some mouthful jockey wheels. They look cool, I know it's fast, I know the difference isn't going to absolutely blow my socks off, but it is worthwhile having, particularly off-road or riding in bad conditions. A wax chain doesn't attract dirt as much as a lubed chain does. Now, I have a couple of training chains for this as well, but this is going to be the one I use racing. The standard SRAM chains, so I hear and read, are pretty slow compared to other chains, so I'll be using this one for events. Right, it's getting juicy now, isn't it? These are the wheels that this bike came with. These are DT Swiss G1800 spline wheels. And I understand these are pretty decent wheels. They're okay for training. They're not by any means amazing spec, but they're rugged, they're tough, and they're probably reliable. However, some of the events I've got planned are on and off-road, so I know the benefits of having a faster wheel set, both in terms of weight and aerodynamics. So thanks to my local bike shop, Vela Bavarian, for hooking me up with some new wheels at a great price. These are Zip 303S's. Mid-section carbon wheels on a gravel bike. I know, is there any point? Well, yes there is. I will be using this bike on the road as well in winter and at some points this year. These are hookless rims, so I know these are probably going to be more useful for me off-road than they are on, but that means they're quite a bit lighter. So these DT Swiss wheels come in at 1.9 kilos and these Zip wheels come in at 1.5. So 400 gram saving in rotational weight is a pretty big saving, and let's be honest, they look cool, don't they? So that is a big thing for me. Like, if you like the bike that you ride, your morale is going to be higher, your motivation to ride it is going to be higher, and therefore you're going to enjoy it more and perform better, is my thinking anyway. Which then leads me on to change number 4, and that is the tyres. Now, Panaracer, shout out Panaracer, this is not a sponsored post or anything, but I messaged them on Instagram saying, hi Panaracer, I'm a triathlete, I don't know what I'm doing the Dirty Reaver and they're sponsoring the event. What tyres shall I buy? This is how much I weigh, this is what sort of rider I am, what do you think? And they came back to me and said, buy these, Daniel. So thank you very much, Panaracer, for giving me some specific advice about what tyres to buy. So these are the Grizl King SK Pluses. Now they did say I'd probably be okay with the SKs, but the Plus has a bit more puncture protection. So I just thought, for the sake of maybe a few more watts in rolling resistance, it'd be better for me to just get a bit of extra security. If I knew I was racing and going to be like in the front group or something, then I'd start looking at those things a bit closer. But because I'm not, I think this is a more sensible choice for me. Now in terms of tread pattern, these aren't that aggressive. They're probably a good all-round tyre. I got them in a 43mm width and the standard tyres were 45mm. So it's a little bit narrower, but I still wanted that width because being a bigger guy, I'm 6'2" and 199 pounds, it is going to be a bit slippy off the road. So even if there's like some light gravel, I might be wiggling around a bit. I don't know exactly how weight works off road, but I'm better having slightly wider tyres, I think, to be able to cover me for those, poorer surfaces. And obviously I got them in tan wool because apparently tan wool is cool. Then finally, change number 5 is the entire cockpit. So I'm talking base bar and these aero bars. Let's start from the base bar. So this is a bit of a gripe of mine. Bikes come with bars that are far too wide for the majority of people. So I know that this is a large bike, but it came with 44cm bars. There are not many people who require that with bars. I ride a 40cm bar on the road and I'm really comfy riding a 40cm bar. So I got some bars that are 40cm on the hoods. Now, people tell me that wider is better for handling off-road, so I thought, well, I'll go for a bit of a halfway house and a bit of gravel fashion and get some flared bars. This enables me to tilt the shifters in a little bit, which I do on the road bike as well, whilst also having some wider bars on the drops. These are 44cm on the drops and they're sort of sculpted to be pretty safe in your hands. So I'm pretty happy with these. I haven't ridden them yet, but I'm expecting them to ride similar to my road bike, spending a lot of time on the hoods, and then give me that a little bit more control if I need it on the drops. And the drop isn't massive. With them being flared, the drop actually comes up a little bit, so it's not like you're dropping down a massive amount. I think these are Richley bars. There's no fancy internal routing or anything like that. These are about £30, I think, so not the end of the world, but it seemed to make a big difference to how the bike looks and hopefully how the bike handles. And then obviously being a triathlete, I've put clip-on bars onto this bike. Now, you might say that's in error. However, I train with clip-on bars on my road bike all the time. Some of the events I've got planned are pretty long and will have extended periods of time where I'm just slogging it for 20 miles into a headwind or something. So having these bars, and because I'm trained in the time trial position, I'm really comfy in that position, particularly if I'm doing long events. Having another position will give me that added bit of comfort to change around how I'm sitting. I've not put them on an especially aggressive position. They're not that narrow, they're not that raised in terms of hand. It's just to get me out of that road position into that time trial position, and just give me something else to do. I am going to change the pads. I just need to locate some other pads that I've got, some other armrests, a bit more support on the sides. But yeah, armrest. I'm also looking for some blips to go on the bars so I can change gear wirelessly through the SRAM Axis drivetrain, but they are all out of stock, so I can't find them anywhere. If you can find the 12-speed Axis blips anywhere, not for bonkers money, let me know. Really practically as well, these bars give you another place to hang stuff. I might want another bag on the front. I put my Garmin at the minute between the bars. I might want to put a light on the base bar, or 2 lights on the base bar. It gives you some more places to, to attach stuff to, so it's just some more options really. The weight is negligible, they're carbon extensions, and the clamps don't weigh very much, so it's not really an issue with that at all. Other things I've added that are pretty standard, some pedals, which I've done a separate video about, side entry bottle cages. I forgot to say the tyres are set up tubeless, so that should be okay. And I think that is about it. If you've got any questions though about this bike, either the setup or any of the components, please do let me know in the comment section down below. Equally, any suggestions welcome. Please don't make them too expensive. Can't wait to get out on this bike. You can probably tell I'm a little bit ill at the minute, so I'm just not doing a huge amount of riding outdoors. In the next couple of days though, I will be getting out on this, so I cannot wait to turn the pedals. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button down below. I've got plenty of cool stuff coming this year, and I'll see you again very soon.